let's look at England at the moment. Let's look at the squad that Gareth Southgate has picked, and let's look at one particular aspect of that squad in this current international break. Now, various individuals here at TalkSPORT, and no doubt quite a number of people around the country who watch football closely, are saying, no Raheem Sterling in the squad. Why is that? Why is that? Such luminaries here as Scott Minto, Tony Cascarino, Darren Bent, Sam Allardyce, Ali McCoist have all been saying, no Sterling.
I'm very much a Gareth Southgate fan, but I think something's gone on there. You've got Harry Maguire, who's now got into the side for United, but for so long didn't, but was still picked. Raheem Sterling, you've had that trust of recent years. He's been brilliant for many a year for his country. He's playing, and he's playing really well. I don't get it personally.
Yeah, well, I would be angry anyway if I was Raheem Sterling. Raheem should have been selected. He should be at least in the 22. If he's not a starter, he played well enough in the Euros to have a start, or certainly be part of a squad if he's playing to the football we know he's capable of.
It almost feels like Gareth's trying to phase him out. That's what it looks like to me. Like almost just like
terrible decision.
Because his form's as good as anyone. You'd say his form's better than Rashford, better than Grealish, because Grealish is not really playing.
Yes.
And these two are in the squad and he's not.
I think he's slightly unlucky. He could perhaps do with that experience in the squad just to see how he is again for when you pick the squad for the Euros.
I don't think MD can argue, but I think Sterling's form is probably better than any of the wide players he's got in his squad.
Yeah. So that's Minto, Cascarino, Ben, Big Sam and Ali. Raheem Sterling, where is he? And then cue the man beside me, Mr. Jordan's column in the Daily Mail today. Why the fuss over Sterling? England don't need him and don't miss him. Curiously, he says, and for reasons that quite frankly evade me, eyebrows have been raised over Raheem Sterling's continued omission from the England squad. But why? And then you go on to tell us why. Why?
Why? I don't know why people would raise their eyebrows.
Why, but why are you taking this
because I don't.
Approach?
Which part of Gareth Southgate's qualifying campaign needs to be scrutinised right now? Which part of his selection and the games that we've won and the qualifying at a canter and the idea that we're playing Malta and North Macedonia as incidental rubbers have any relevance to a player that's played 82 times for the country? Everyone knows what Raheem Sterling is or isn't. Gareth Southgate is well versed in his experience, and so what does he need to bring him back in the squad for? If there are other opportunities to blood other players that may well be weaponised in terms of gotten ready to be part of a European Championship opportunity next year, Cole Palmer being case in point. So I look at it and go, what's the furore? There were lots of people, lots of dissenting voices when Sterling was getting in the England squad, when people were saying his form ain't that great. So you can't have it both ways. You know, when he was getting in, when his form wasn't that great and there was questions about it. I mean, I've often railed against this observation. Trevor Sinclair used to make it in the studio about Raheem Sterling, world class.
Yeah.
It's nonsense. He's not a world class footballer. He's played 82 times for England, scored 20 goals. Kylian Mbappe has played 72 times for France and scored 43 goals. It's not a world-class argument. It's a very good player argument.
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone can argue that he's gone from Man City, where the manager clearly didn't fancy him, was prepared to let him go to a rival, with a statistic of one goal in every 2.5 games. He's landed in a clunky, poor, out-of-form Chelsea side that's had a couple of decent results in the last week and has scored 1 goal in 4. Where's the statistical and factual argument that because he played well against Manchester City recently, I know, because he scored 2 wonderful goals against relegation-threatened Luton? Is that the argument that people want to put forward?
Do you think some of the pundits are putting a bit of spin on this?
Well, I think there's also a feeling that there may be something that's gone on because there's a treatment that's being deployed towards Ben White as well, not being called back into the squads since, for whatever his unexplained absence from the England squad in terms of returning from Qatar, and the rumours circulating that he's had a fallout with Steve Holland and whatever else, and maybe spent too much time on a sunbed during the time in Qatar. Look, the bottom line is that Raheem Sterling is not a commodity that Gareth Southgate needs to reintroduce into the international framework, to get acclimatised international framework, or to find out what he's doing, because he's played 82 times for England. The bulk of those appearances have been under Gareth Southgate. Gareth Southgate has earned the right to pick whatever bloody squad he wants to pick for incidental games like Malta and North Macedonia.
I get that, but I mean, there's an argument that he could be ahead of Rashford.
Possibly. But would you play Raheem Sterling in the same way that you'd play Rashford? Does Raheem Sterling give you the same things that Rashford might be able to give you at times? Is there an argument to say that Rashford has been effective at international level in recent times? I don't know, but why does it have to be a like for like? Southgate's made a decision, and his decision is that Raheem Sterling is not in his squad.
See, there's always a hint of ownership. Owner type opinion comes in.
Why?
I have to be honest, I've never been a huge fan of Sterling as a player. From the disrespectful manner in which he left Liverpool.
Yeah, I did think at the time there was a little bit of that going on.
To the misplaced suggestion that he's world class.
That's my main focus.
I mean, could you not have a swipe at almost most players the way they leave clubs?
But the context was that I was asked to write an article on the Raheem Sterling question.
Yeah.
I was off busy writing an article on Jim Ratcliffe. And Mr. Clayton went, I'd like one of Raheem Sterling, please.
Oh, so you're now alleging that the boss has put pressure on you?
No pressure. I can write what I want. It's my column. But my view on Raheem Sterling...
not on this occasion.
Well, it is. If I was given a suggestion as to what they'd like to see in the paper, I'm quite happy to write about it. And in this instance, Raheem Sterling was a conversation. It's one that's always... I think Raheem Sterling's a very good footballer. Is that not good enough? Why does it have to be... Why do we have to extrapolate Raheem Sterling's world class? He's not world class. And it's a ridiculous comparison. It's a false equivalency. So when I turn around and say he's a good player, that's not good enough. When I look at the idea that maybe Cole Palmer, that's never played at international level for the full side, that may well be coming on the back of a really good season and could be really useful to us next year, and we have no idea how he will settle in, maybe in incidental games like North Macedonia, maybe that's a good line of thinking. Because 82 games for England, you're not a secret, you're well known. So I don't know why Sterling, and I have to say, if your form at Chelsea... And I didn't think he was great against Tottenham. People are going, he was great against Tottenham. Well, Tottenham had 9 men on a pitch. And half the time, they weren't great. They didn't pick the right passes.
You could apply the argument of why... why is Harry Kane in? We know exactly what Harry Kane can do.
Well, you mean why is Harry Maguire in?
No, I mean Kane. I mean, when you look
because
at it...
he's the England captain.
But you know what you're getting with Kane.
Because he's
exactly and as you rightly say, Malta and North Macedonia.
But he's the England captain. So you have these standard bearers in there, and you expect that to be the fulcrum, the backbone of a squad.
Yeah.
And I don't look at... So let me look at this right. The argument that Sterling is not in the side is because we've done so badly without him.
No, I think he's producing a bit of decent form.
What?
And there's a variety of people like Minto Cascarino, Ben Allardyce McCoy think because of that he should be in.
Well, okay, but they're not the England manager, are they?
Rio Ferdinand, who you mentioned in your column.
And that's their opinion. And my opinion is something different. My opinion is that maybe Raheem Sterling can keep on producing the form that he's produced in the last couple of games. And albeit I don't think that form was... I think it was great against Man City... But notwithstanding, I think the argument that he's been great since he's got to Chelsea in the last 16 months, I think he was lucky to get in the squad to go to the World Cup.
You see, there's Reece, who's a Manchester United fan. I don't get Simon a lot of the time. Why Rashford and not Sterling?
But why do I have to compare and contrast? The conversation was about Sterling.
Yeah.
If they wanted me to write an article about Marcus Rashford, I'd be writing a bleeding article about Marcus Rashford, wouldn't I? I could write a similar article about Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford, to me, is not doing particularly well. But I wasn't writing about Marcus Rashford. I was writing about Sterling.
Because you were told to.
Well,
I didn't know that. You see,
yes, Jim, I was told to. Lee Clayton told me to. He put the quill in my hand, dipped the ink on the end of the feather, and said, "You will only write on this subject matter."
No, but remember how Kieran and Murphy virtually tells that they're lent on to write certain columns and can't remember what they've written.
But exactly, the difference is I know precisely what I've written, whereas Danny didn't know what he's written, and Martin writes about things that aren't true.
Do you think so? They're
different, aren't they?
Almost inevitably, the praise is coming in for you, Raymond. Denby Dale. Where is that? I've no clue. I love it when Simon calls out the media for exactly what they are. Thank you, Simon, for giving me a real reason to listen to your show every day. Do you think Sterling's international days then are numbered, if not over?
Well, he's 28, 29 years of age. So that's up to him, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, Harry Kane's 31, isn't he, or 30. So there's no reason for Sterling's career to be over. But I don't think there's a compelling enough argument to say he's a must-pick. Of course, whatever's not in the squad, we have to debate in certain sections of the media to be able to fill airtime. But I don't think there's particularly a compelling case for Sterling. I don't think it's a nailed-on opportunity, and he's not a secret. No. It's not like Southgate doesn't know him.
Okay.
But if you want to make up a conspiracy theory, it could be because he left and didn't come back.
We're talking about it not to make up airtime.
A perceived slight to Gareth Southgate.
You've written to fill column space.
Not you. I'm talking about other people. I've not criticised Southgate's selection. Other people have.
Yeah.
So I'm observing that my view is that Southgate's selection is his own business. He's the England manager. They've qualified at a canter. They've beaten the Italians twice. What the hell is the problem? And if he doesn't pick Raheem Sterling, why is there suddenly this great big furore of fanhood for Raheem Sterling? Is the England team not doing well then? Is there send for Agent Sterling, we're in trouble.
There's another message coming in. Jim Simon's got more faces than Big Ben. He was talking about Southgate. He was talking Southgate down yesterday. Now it's the best thing since sliced bread.
No. What I was asked about was Southgate's responsibility was to win the European Championship. Is it good enough they lost the last 3? You are capable of holding 2 opinions, aren't you? Does everything have to be binary?
I think so. What do you think? Should Sterling be in Southgate's squad, bearing in mind it is Malta and North Macedonia, so no prizes for thinking who might get the points in those 2 games? Should Sterling be in? Does he merit being in?
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the TalkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. TalkSPORT.